right. I just want to say a big welcome to everyone this morning. Thank you. And a special thank you to Bernie for joining and just to really guide us in our exploration of women's health and hormones. So this morning we'll be doing, I would love to say a deep dive, but it's more a whistle-stop tour of estrogen, phytoestrogen, xenoestrogens, cortisol, liver health, also looking at thyroid function and a bit about PMS as well. So for now, I just want you to have a little think about where you are at with your own health. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no unwanted symptoms and 10 being out of control symptoms, how would you describe your monthly cycle? So this is just something for you to think about and write down, and just have a little think about that. And if peri-menopausal, I don't think we've got any post-menopausal people on this morning, how are your symptoms? And then just to run through some areas of hormone balance that may be difficult for you. Hypothyroid, adrenal fatigue, difficulty losing weight, mood swings, trouble sleeping, infertility, poor memory, type 2 diabetes, or maybe there's something else that's coming to mind. So maybe just have a think about where you're at. What are those kind of things coming up for you as I run through that list? Definitely for me, I'm in the mood swing category.
And I just didn't know.
So just to briefly give you an idea of what the hormones are. So they're chemical messengers that affect so many of the things in our body: blood sugar, mood, sleep, and fertility. And I know quite a few weeks ago, we looked at supplements and nutrition, and just to highlight once more about the power of LLV, which is our lifelong vitality supplement range, which is really about the foundation of your nutrition for optimizing hormonal balance and energy levels. These supplements are packed with nature's most powerful antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and energy cofactors. So I'm just going to hand over to lovely Bernie now, who's going to chat to us a little bit more about estrogen and xenoestrogen.
Hello. So I just wanted to tell you about hormones, how they work. Basically, they work in what's known as a lock and key mechanism. So hormones get released from a certain gland or an organ in your body, and they send a message to the site where they're needed to say, so if you're running, for example, you need you might need adrenaline or cortisol, or if you're running for the bus or someone's frightened you or something. So they act as a lock and key. So the hormone will act as the key, and it will find the lock that it needs to go into, and everything's hunky-dory. Now what happens is there are some things that are called xenoestrogens, and they're like pretend estrogens, and they mimic the role of the hormone in the body. And one of them is an endocrine disruptor. They can lock into that key that wouldn't normally house the hormone, and it would block the normal action of the hormone. So it's stopped. The normal estrogen is swimming along. It finds that the key has already been filled by someone else, so therefore it can't do its job. So you haven't got your estrogen where it's needed, and you've got this excess estrogen swimming around your body. So these xenoestrogens are found in a lot of day-to-day products like plastics, cling film. They're in a lot of cosmetics, in parabens, in lead, mercury, arsenic, and household cleaning products, which Gemma's going to talk about. And also things like a lot of our meat, non-organic meat, contains a lot of hormones that can disrupt your natural hormone balance. So it's really important to make sure that you, if you can, try and avoid them at all, in all ways, and also to make sure that you're detoxifying properly, but we'll talk about that later on, after this slide. Do you want me to talk about this one?
No, well, just to mention about the xenoestrogens, that really it's just for you to just make that quick mental check about things that you are using every single day. You know, the products that you're putting onto your skin, the things that you are taking internally, the products that you're using to clean your home with, can really be affecting your hormones. So just to know that doTERRA are very much about clean products. So maybe, I mean, you could be making your own, and just that sort of reminder that, you know, be using your essential oils because they're so pure, and that you can really use oils to take care of your body and to clean your home with. So just flagging that as a reminder. So one of the products that doTERRA also produces is something called a phytoestrogen complex. And so this is plant phytoestrogen that supports hormone balance. And one thing to flag up that Bernie's just been talking about were the xenoestrogen, being the bully on the block, as it were. Well, the phytoestrogen complex actually eats up the xenoestrogen so that the estrogen can get to where it needs to go and do the job that it needs to do. So this may be something that you wish to explore taking, particularly when we're entering into the perimenopausal part in our life, if you are there alongside me, and very much there to support hormonal imbalances and mood swings. So something that you can take all month long to support your hormones and your cycle. One other thing they create or make is something called the bone nutrient, and this is a bioavailable nutrition for both men and women, necessary for bone integrity, strength, and overall health. So this complex is natural nutrients, and it also includes vitamin C, vitamin D, and magnesium. So it's important for those with weak or fragile bones, bone fractures, and growing individuals. And I know Benny was just going to share with us some top tips as we enter into this sort of stage in our life, how important it is to really be taking care of our bones. So Benny, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so as we age and we start to experience menopause, our bodies start producing estrogen from the ovaries because that all shuts down. And you still, however, continue to make a little bit of estrogen from your adrenal glands. So it's really important to, because you haven't got that estrogen, estrogen is really important to help build bones. So they produce what are known as, or help build osteoblasts, and they're the little tiny little things inside your bones that help build a good strong bone, basically. So no estrogen means less osteoblasts, so therefore weaker bones. That's why we're more susceptible to osteoporosis post-menopause. So in order to stimulate your bone production, you need to be doing weight-bearing exercise. So that's lifting weights or lifting tins of beans or bags of sugar, and making sure you incorporate bone strengthening exercise into your weekly exercise routine. And it's really easy. You can do it. You can do it simply. You don't necessarily need weights, but a couple of pairs of dumbbells is a good idea. And if not, tins of beans or bricks or something. But yeah, it's very important. And also after menopause, especially. Yeah, and magnesium, and making sure you can increase your magnesium intake in your food, and have lots of pumpkin seeds and all the, I mean, I won't go into too much detail, but there's a lot you can do to protect your bones, and just be aware of it as we're aging, moving forward.
So moving on to a couple of essential oils I want to highlight that can really support you during your cycle. So rose oil is really there for a beautiful emotional support. It can also boost libido and promote openness and confidence. So application applied to the lower abdomen can really help relieve any menstrual discomfort and promote regular ovulation. So this comes in a roller, so it's already diluted with fractionated coconut oil and ready to apply topically to the skin. Another brilliant blend that you may wish to explore to support you during your cycle is Clary Calm, which contains the oils of lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, ylang ylang, geranium, fennel, and most importantly, clary sage, because it's a brilliant support for hormone balancing. Really good, if you're struggling with heavy periods, painful cramps, hot flushes, and mood swings. So clary sage can be one of those Marmite oils. I don't know if you are familiar with the scent already, but it's something that you may not like, but it can do a lot of good for you. So say that you wanted to work with this blend, but you weren't in love with the smell of it, then you can always apply it to your feet and it would still have a really good effect on the body, particularly applying it to the soles of your feet and inside your ankles. And then you're putting on your socks or your stockings, tights, whatever you like to put on your feet. And you're not kind of having to endure the scent if it's something that is not that you love to put on. I mean, I actually really quite like the scent of Clary Calm and roll it when I feel the need to. Okay, so moving on to talk about the endocrine system, which directly involved in growth and development, metabolism, nutrient regulation, and overall homeostasis. And just to highlight that essential oils can be very beneficial since they are circulated in the same way and profoundly benefit the cells they encounter in the process. So Bernie's just going to chat a little bit more in detail about the endocrine system. I'm just going to pull up another slide to guide that. Go ahead, Bea.
Yeah, so your endocrine system is basically, that tells your body what hormones are needed and where and when. So as we said earlier, estrogen's needed for bone growth, blood clotting, reproduction. Your pituitary gland produces melatonin, your pineal gland produces melatonin, and that tells you, so the day is ending and we're going towards nighttime, so get ready to slow down and encourages your body to sleep. Your stomach produces two hormones called gastrin and ghrelin, which indicate whether you're full or whether you're hungry, and so they all act in like a feedback system to stimulate then organs and messages around the body to act in a certain way. And it's really important to keep your endocrine system balanced, so the hormones are working in the right way and where they should, to avoid problems later on. And it's a really essential part of the body that we take for granted. We don't even know half the time what it's doing. So it's important. Did you want me to say anything else?
So moving on now to talk about the care of the liver. Did you want to talk about the liver first, and then I'll talk about the product that you can use?
Yeah, definitely. So the liver is really important when it comes to detoxification, as you probably know. When I talked earlier about these xenoestrogens that block the hormone receptors, it means that there's a lot of excess estrogens floating around the body that aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and you need to make sure that you support your liver in order to detoxify them, and generally for detoxification, because we live in London and there's a lot of pollution, and we probably if we're not eating optimally, we have to make sure that we're drinking lots of water, 2 litres of water every day. But one thing you can really do is try to eat more cruciferous vegetables, so that's things like broccoli, sprouts, cauliflower, because they contain important ingredients called glucosinolates and indole 3 carbinol, which are really good at helping the phase 1 stage of detoxification of your liver. So your liver does two stages of detox, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 1 needs lots of these cruciferous vegetables, and phase 2 needs lots of B vitamin foods. And B vitamins generally are really good for anything to do with women's health and hormones. They're really essential they're essential for everything really, but they're very important for hormone production and for helping detox, that phase 2 detox. So that's in green leafy vegetables, especially like spinach and endive and rocket salad and all sorts, anything green. It's really good to have. Make sure you're having green, lots of greens, as well, as much as you can every day. A couple of cups a day is great, at least one if you can. And also to encourage your detoxification, try and make sure you're having lots of fibre during the day to bind those loose estrogens, so you'll pass them in your stool. And make sure you're having a bowel movement every day. That is very important to get rid of it so it doesn't go back into recirculation. Or the toxins don't go back into recirculation, I mean. And you concentrate on maintaining good gut bacteria. So that's things like fermented foods, so cultured yogurts, sauerkraut, if you like it. You can get kefir and kombucha now these days, and if not, you can always take a probiotic. But I wouldn't just take one willy-nilly. I'd always make sure you're doing it. Make sure you get looked at or assessed first, because if you just take them, they often get lost. They get killed off in the stomach acid. So there's lots of variables about that. And zinc and magnesium, as I said earlier, are really good for helping women's hormones, and they're in dark green leafy vegetables and black beans, legumes, and things like that. Avoiding alcohol and caffeine as much as you can, because they just add more burden to your liver. So or just maintaining moderation, as I always say.
Boo. And also just to highlight some oils that you can take to really help support detoxification. Lemon oil is one of my favorites. I put it in a glass or a brilliant metal bottle, 1 to 2 drops. And now that the weather is getting a little colder, I really love to use this because I can alter the temperature of my water and pretty much like to drink warmer water during the colder months. So just having some warm water with lemon oil throughout the day. And there's another really good blend called Slim and Sassy, which I really don't like the name of, but the taste of the oil is delicious. And it's kind of that hybrid of citrus and mint. So really good should you be having any sugar cravings throughout the day and you really don't want to go to the chocolate and the biscuits and all of that, and just to take 1 drop of that in a glass of water, or to even diffuse the oil, really helps in curbing the sugar craving. Zendocrine is also a supplement that you can take to really support the detoxification of your liver as well. Adrenals. So B, you're going to talk about this first, and then I'm going to do my little demonstration.
Okay. So your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys, and they release about more than 50 different hormones that are responsible for a number of different functions in the body. There's the cortex. There's 2 parts to the adrenal glands, the cortex and the medulla. The cortex is the outer part, and that makes your cortisol and your aldosterone, and the medulla is the inner part, and that makes adrenaline and noradrenaline. And those particular 4 hormones are responsible for things like metabolism, blood sugar levels, your blood pressure control, sexual development, and your stress response, which is really important. And one important thing about your adrenals is to make sure you look after them, because if you're constantly, they work in the way with the stress response, they work by releasing cortisol and adrenaline if you're super stressed, or there's a tiger in the room, or you need to run for the bus. So all the energy that would normally kind of manage your digestion and help you breathe normally with your lungs rushes to your blood and your brain and your heart to protect them, because they think they're under threat. And so cortisol shoots up and adrenaline shoots up, and you're in the state of alarm or charge. Now, if you're always like that, if for whatever reason you're constantly at a high stress level, then those hormones are pumping all the time, and your adrenal glands just get overloaded and overworked, and it can lead to fatigue, adrenal fatigue and exhaustion. And you can often, I mean, there can be anomalies where they're just not working properly, and you might have heard of Addison's disease or Cushing's syndrome. They're all problems from the adrenal glands. But if you're constantly stressed, that cortisol and the adrenaline are up on high all the time, and you can be not sleeping properly, you can just be moody, you can lose weight unexpectedly or gain weight unexpectedly, you can have, you inflame your body a lot more, so there's a lot more inflammation, and you can have joint pain and things like that. So it's just something to be aware of, really. And you would need proper testing. You can do a stress test to work out where your stress levels are at various parts of the day. But yeah, it's just be aware of what you need to do to support your adrenals. And there's various things you can do, like eating an anti-inflammatory diet, drinking less caffeine, because they all stimulate your adrenals to produce more cortisol and more adrenaline. So there's lots to go there.
So one of the things I like to do in the morning to support my adrenals is I apply an essential oil. One of the recommendations is magnolia, but you can also use basil, lemongrass, ylang ylang, grapefruit, or bergamot. And this is all that I simply do. I roll the oil in the palm of my hands here, and then rub that oil in the face. And then I just go and place, giving the placement of where, just holding simply here, and just gently breathing and placing this oil right on my adrenals. Mito2 Max is also a natural supplement that is really good to support you mitochondrial. So it's that balancing and supporting energy throughout the day. So if you are someone that really wants to take out of your diet, you can definitely take a supplement like Mito2 Max that can really help support you, your adrenals, and maintain throughout the day. Moving on to the care of the thyroid.
Adrenaline and dopamine, and they're the hormones that you use when you're excited, when you have fear, or when you experience pleasure. It also helps break down proteins, carbs, and vitamins. So if it's not working, it can impact your digestive system, and you can experience lots of different things. But the thyroid is responsible for lots of things. So it can be caused from your energy levels to weight loss and weight gain if it's unexpected and you're not sure why. If you're tired, or you're unusually tired and you don't know why, or if you're more jittery, it could be that your thyroid's either underactive or overactive, and that's hypo and hyperthyroidism. It works in sync with your pituitary gland that makes TSH, which is, so as I said before, the endocrine system works in different stages. So in response to a need, it will signal to the brain to release a hormone, and then the hormone gets produced, and then it travels to the site where it's needed. So it's a really carefully balanced system. And when things don't work properly, if the hormone levels aren't nicely balanced, then it can lead to disruption and problems. So you and even in men as well, men who have low testosterone levels may be struggling with fertility. It could be due to a low thyroid, or if you have irregular periods, you might have a low thyroid too. It's something that you don't always look to, but it can be a cause of problems, and it's something you can easily check with your GP, and you can even do a thyroid temperature test at home just with a thermometer. Yeah, back to you, Gemma.
Okay, so yeah, just to say that it's not a life sentence, and habits are critically important. Check your nutrition, maybe even with a nutritionist, your stress levels, and your water supply. So oils to support the thyroid, liver. You can make this really beautiful blend, which is using the oils of clove, myrrh, lemongrass, frankincense, and peppermint. So in a roller, combine 10 drops of each of these oils and then topping up with fractionated coconut oil and applying to the thyroid area 3 times a day. But I will be sending out this recipe following this presentation. All right, that pretty much completes everything we've had to chat about hormones. Bernie's just going to briefly give you a little chat about what she offers.
I just wanted to touch one last thing on PMS just before we finish, if we have an extra couple of minutes, why we get PMS and what you can do about it. So it occurs because of the interaction between different hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and all the neurotransmitters in your brain that result in different physical and emotional changes. So we usually experience symptoms before your period starts, and they disappear by the end of the cycle. And what happens is your body releases LH and FSH, which are 2 hormones needed before your period, and then estrogen levels surge, and they stay stable until you've ovulated, and then just before you menstruate, the estrogen drops and progesterone kicks in case you have a pregnancy, and it's there to maintain the pregnancy. So that's what happens, is that all those different hormones are normally reacting quite happily and doing what they should do, but if there are any problems or irregularities or imbalances from what we said earlier, then that's why things get out of sync, and you can, as Gemma was saying, you can have headaches, you can become more irritable and emotional, you can have more breast pain or cramps, you can be bloating, you can have swelling, and there's lots of different symptoms I'm sure you all know about, but there's so much you can do, from changing what you eat, simple changes to what you eat, to help alleviate your symptoms, and there's lots of supplements and, as Gemma was saying, essential oils that you can take to really help. So don't do it alone if you are suffering and coming into different changes, coming up to perimenopause as well. There's an awful lot you can do with a few simple changes to your diet and your lifestyle to help improve how you feel and take control of your body once again. So you don't simply have to rely on medication. There is a lot you can do naturally. So if you want to, please feel free to call me. I do a free 30-minute discovery call where I talk to you about how nutrition works and what I can do to help you with what you're struggling with. And then I've got a 4-week essential health program and a longer digestive support program. So if you're interested in a free chat, just drop me a line or send me a message or anything you like, because I can help you.
Thank you. So just to finish, to say, be well. And next week, the talk will be on oils for pain management, and it will be the last one. That will mean, yes, so it's an 8-week program. We're on week 7. So yeah, the journey is coming to a new beginning, should we say? All right, thank you, everyone. Does anyone have any questions? Meanwhile, I'm going to prepare the prize draw, which will be a Claricalm roller today. So I'm just written everyone's names down that was on the call. I'm just checking that I've got everyone. But if anyone has any questions, please let me or Bernie know. And one more. Oh, it's all very quiet. No problem. I won't keep you a moment longer. I'm going to put all the names in the draw. Da, 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 da. Who's going to be the lucky winner today? Da, 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 da. Drum roll, please. Joanna. I don't know whether.
Thank you.
Claricalm roller coming now.
That's what I need. It was brilliant, guys. I mean, there's so much information to take in. It's just, you know, all these things we never talk about it, isn't it? It's just like, I'm overwhelmed by all this. I've got everything written down. I'm going to go like study this now. So just to ask, I've got a friend who has a thyroid problem. And so can she, if you have under active and overactive, can this blend be for anyone, Gemma?
Oh,
Do you know if that will be, or Bernie, if that is this is just to like prevent? Yeah.
I will need to check. I don't know.
All right.
That was just kind of like the thyroid blend, but whether that's for somebody that's
So is this
overactive, because there may be better blends. So.
Yeah. So do you think this is just to like prevent having problem with thyroids?
Yes.
This is more preventable, and then there might be different oils to regulate.
Yes.
Okay. Brilliant. All right.
There's also something that you can take, which is a homeopathic remedy by Guna, but I can't remember the name. It's thyroid something. I'll have to find out. But homeopathic remedies are very subtle in the way they work. They're just tiny little. I don't know if you've seen them. Tiny little. And you put them under your tongue.
Under the tongue, yeah.
So they work by just giving you a gentle kind of. It's kind of like a gentle way of rebalancing. So it's a good idea to. You can take them, but always take. I wouldn't just take them willy-nilly, because you need to know, like, do a full case history with. So I'd see a homeopath or ask a homeopath.
Right.
See a homeopath, but there is a particular one that I know for thyroid that you can take before. Try that before you start, going to the GP and thinking about thyroxine or.
Yeah, I think she has been on it for quite a while now, actually. So I'm not sure if she, Yeah. But anyway, thank you, Bernie.
I'll find out the name and I'll tell you.
Thanks.
I'll tell you.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Fantastic, girls.
All right.
Great.
Lovely. Well.
Questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'll let you.
Thanks, everyone.
You your weekend.
Yes. Same to you guys. Lovely week to everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
See you soon.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.